All right, I'm running behind on questions, so I'm going to try and get in 3 or 4 today. And bowl gouge, I'm going to show you how that cuts. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, first up is lathe maintenance. So somebody had a question. I don't do anything to the belt. I've only had the lathe a year, so it's running good, and I don't touch that. What I do is the motor on this one is underneath it. So I try and keep the shavings off of it. It gets a little, it acts as an insulator if the shavings pile up around it, and it'll get warm. I haven't had a problem with it getting really hot, but also I try and keep everything cleared out from around it. So I'll turn for a while and then clear it off. So first of all, I wax the beds. I normally just use paste wax or like a candle. You can just get a regular candle, just wax it up, and it will run nice and smooth for you. So, and on the tool rest too, just give it a coat of wax, and your tools will ride nice and smooth. So, and then for my centers, they go in the Morse taper. I put just a thin coat of the paste wax on it. I just rub a little bit on it, and it keeps it nice and clean. They do make a little tool that you can get in there and clean it out. It's like a little ream, but I don't have one. I just put the paste wax on. And what I do is, generally after I'm done turning for the day, I knock them out. I pull them out of there so they don't sit in there, if I don't get back to the lathe for a couple of days and stick in there. So other than that, I don't do a whole lot. I put a little bit of oil on it sometimes if I notice it's getting, if you turn a lot of wet wood, it's gonna rust on you, so you need to get it cleaned off after you're done turning a green bowl or something. So those are basically the only things I do for maintenance. I take my air compressor and blow around the motor vent, and then back here around the electronics, I blow that out every once in a while too. But that's about it. I don't do anything to the chuck. It runs good. Maybe put a little bit of oil on your centers. This one's kind of loud, but the other ones I just put a little bit of oil down in there to try and make them run smooth. But that is basically all I do for lathe maintenance, is just try and keep everything waxed up so it doesn't rust on you, and everything slides nice and smooth. So the other one was tool rest height, and what I generally do is I keep it just below center if I'm using a gouge to work with, and if I'm using a scraper, I generally keep it just above center, because you're actually cutting on the burr, so that it's cutting down and you cutting on that burr. The only time it's really critical is when you're hollowing something out. You want it right on center, so that when you come across, your tool comes across there, that point is right on dead center, so it doesn't leave that little burr right in the middle that's so hard to get out. So it's not real critical on the tool rest height. So just kind of play around with it and see what works for you and what you're comfortable with. But the only time it needs to be right on is when you're hollowing something out. Okay. And Tim wanted to know how my new diamond stone was working. I went into Woodcraft the other day, and they had a bit of a scam going on. Just kidding, Woodcraft. They didn't have the white wheels. The other one had a chip in it, so I wanted to replace it. But they did have these, luckily. They're about 3 times as much, but it makes a much cleaner cut. They last about 3 times as long. And the biggest benefit I have found so far is not having to dress them. You don't have to dress them, don't do anything to them. When you dress these white stone, the whole shop fills up with a cloud of white powder, and it's just a mess. So that's the biggest advantage I've found so far, is not breathing all of that. So, but it works great. So I think, price wise, they'll last just as long, if not longer, than the other ones, and you don't have to keep cleaning them up, and it does put a nice smooth finish on your tools. So okay, and so let's go work on the bowl gouge. All right, the bowl gouge is probably the most versatile tool. You can pretty much turn an entire bowl with just the bowl gouge, maybe just a little bit on a parting tool or something to get your tenon on the inside, but you can basically turn the whole bowl with this one tool. So what you want to do is you always want to cut on the leading edge. So if you're coming across this way, you're cutting on the edge here. You turn around, you're cutting on the edge there. Don't just stuff it in there. It's not gonna do a nice job. But you want to get your bevel up there and cut on your leading edge as you're coming across. So just like, and it'll take off a lot of material fast. Put your tool up there, just riding on the bevel, roll it over. All right, so you can see it makes a nice clean cut, nice and smooth. The other thing is, with just basically any tool, if you run it across there really fast, you can see it leaves ridges, and you'll get like spirals on certain things, and it's from just going too fast. So just let the tool cut. Just don't try and force it, and then you can see it's nice and smooth. That's end grain there, but you can see where it's not end grain. Just nice smooth cut, and then you won't get those little ridges in there. Just make a nice smooth pass and try and keep moving. And that's where, having your tool rest free of nicks and running nice and smooth really helps, is when you're trying to do your final pass, is to get it to run nice and smooth all the way down. Clean out the inside a little bit, or actually the bottom. All right, so I'll show you what it does if you're not on center. Okay, so I don't think this is on center, but we'll find out. Same thing. Just let your bevel ride. There we go. Okay, so you can see it left a little nub, and that's because it's not centered. So let's try and get it centered so we can clean that up. Let's see how that works. There you go. If it's on center, it won't leave that nub. So also, when you're starting it here, if you come back too far, it'll catch and just try and run right back up the piece. So just like that. So you need to get in there, find out right where it's at. Hold it on there. And once it starts, it'll just run. And take that little nub right off. So, and you can also use it like you cut back this way with it too. Just like you're cleaning up the outside of it. All right, I hope that cleared up those questions. And like the bowl gouge, it's if you have any more questions about it, just let me know. But if you get it nice and sharp and keep riding that bevel, lots of nice shavings. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.